Right, it looks like we're going to go ahead and get started. We've had quite a few more people join. So I'd like to welcome everyone today. Thank you for joining us for this hour-long community of practice. We're glad you're here. As far as our agenda for today, we're going to start with a quick information request and reminder. We sent this out via email after the last couple community of practices, just because we ran a little short on time. So I want to make sure we cover that today. And then the majority of our time today will be spent with a guest speaker who's going to speak with us about an opportunity, about a program called Safe, Secured, and Loved. So Laura will be here to talk with us about that. And then we'll finish up this session with a few reminders. All right. So once again, thanks for coming today, and let's go ahead and get started unless there's any questions before we do. All right, so some of you have maybe seen this information request in your email, but we are asking to get some information from you about upcoming or your current network convenings. We just really want to understand your meeting and committee structure a bit more. We know everyone has meetings and maybe sub-meetings, subcommittees, but everyone does it a little bit differently. So we just want to learn a little bit about that. So we ask that you submit a quick document or even a quick email containing these components. Just a list of groups who meet as part of your community network activities. You know, this could be a coalition, advisory council. Everybody has a little bit different name for their meeting structures, your governing boards, and inclusive of any committees or subcommittees you may have. Along with that list, the purpose under each of those groups of sorry, it was a little repetitive there. So the list, a group, the purpose, the status, is this something that you're currently forming, hoping to form, or is it already established and running? And just the frequency of those group convenings. Do they meet once a month, quarterly, or even if you haven't formed them and you're planning to form, what the anticipated frequency of convenings are. I mean, if you can just put that in an email and send it to me. We're not asking you to recreate the wheel. So if you already have a document like this, you can share. Please feel free to just forward it, or just, like I said, to put something into an email. It doesn't have to be super formal. Any questions about that? All right, great. And you can also email me if you do have questions or need additional information about what we're kind of looking for there. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and move right in to the next section of our presentation today. And we want to welcome Laura Thornton. She's coming in from the Department of Health to share some information about an opportunity, a pilot opportunity that we're talking about facilitating through the Ready Start networks, and it's called Safe, Secured, and Loved. So I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to share this information with you. Welcome, Laura, sorry.
It's okay. Thank you so much, Amy and Lizzie and everyone. My name is Laura Thornton, and if you all will bear with me while I share my screen and get my presentation going, I will talk a little bit more about who I am and why the heck I'm talking to you all today. So thank you, and let me get started. All right. So, as Amy said, my name is Laura Thornton. I am a developmental psychologist, and I work in the Louisiana Department of Health in the Bureau of Family Health. And my role is often focusing on developmental screenings. So when little ones go to the pediatrician at maybe their 9-month well visit, and you have to fill out some extra forms about how they're moving and kind of going throughout the world, is often developmental screening. So I try and make sure that all children are receiving those kinds of screening throughout the entire state. So one of the things that I also do is I am the Learn the Signs Act Early Ambassador for Louisiana, and used to be the deputy ambassador with Britt Braun, who remains our deputy ambassador for education. And you will hear a lot more about Learn the Signs Act Early, but I know that Learn the Signs Act Early, and particularly the checklists and all of the things that have been going on there that Britt has put together, have been kind of a big part of those conversations previously. So I'm continuing on with all of that work. I will try and respond to things as they come up in the chat, or if someone can let me know if there's a specific question, but I will have my email included, and I will be sending out all of these slides after as well, or make sure that they get to you all. So if you have questions, please let me know. And I am generally open to, if you've got a question, just put yourself off mute, and I'm okay with someone asking anything. So today I'm going to be talking about building family resilience and where that kind of fits in with this Learn the Signs Act Early and this idea of safe, secure, and loved. And I want to first ask folks to think about how your Ready Start network has developed the resilience of your community. And when I talk about resilience, I mean not necessarily focused on resilience to a specific trauma. Often when we learn about resilience, it's in the context of adverse childhood experiences or other negative impacts. But resilience in the being able to bounce back when something happens. This can be the small things in a child's interactions in the classroom. It can be big bounces back after, say, an eviction or something else that's happening. So there are lots of ways that your Ready Start networks are already working in communities that are helping build resilience, whether it's through that family engagement part, making sure that families are being heard and are at the table to have decision-making power in what happens in their community, or the mental health consultation and other engagement to really make sure that people have the support that they need. So I kind of want to prime everybody up and ask to kind of contemplate how your Ready Start network has either developed or invested or interested in building the resilience of your community, and kind of holding that in the back of your head throughout our conversation. So from here, I want to introduce it can be called a lot of different things, but Safe, Secure, and Loved, or SSL, is a mindfulness-based, trauma-informed, community-led parent education experience that is entirely designed to help build family resilience and strengthen family resilience, in particular for families of young children. So again, why Ready Start networks are an appropriate group to be talking to, hopefully. Pardon me. And there's a bunch of different components of this, and it was developed by Dr. Barbara Burns out in California. And it sounds very wishy-washy as of right now. When you look at these things, you're like, okay, that's a lot of different ways to describe a potential thing. But what it means for participants is a series of 6 workshops, and we specifically use the language of workshops because it's not a parenting class. It is a workshop where people learn skills and get to do activities, and they focus around a different kind of item or logo each time, and everything builds upon another. So the anchor workshop is really focusing on strengthening inner wisdom by practicing mindfulness with young children. And the glass is about learning how to keep their glasses full and manage the stress with mindful breathing and self-compassion. We all know in the midst of a pandemic that it's hard to keep our glasses full right now, right? And so this helps young parents of young children really practice and embody all of these particular mindful habits is what they're called here. And then the suitcase is all about packing their child's suitcase with the thinking skills and using family play, and then using the language of quote unquote parentese, or how we talk with our children, being able to communicate with them lovingly and respond so that children are prepared for whatever comes their way. And the heart is about practicing resilient loops, so making sure that there are positive interactions always happening between parent and child, using compassionate listening to connect and show love for the child, so that kiddos really do know they're safe, secure, and loved. The school bus is all about teaching families how safety and danger can impact brain development. So when we send them off into the world, putting them on a school bus and whatnot, that they have all of the things around them, that they know what is safe, what is not safe, and making sure that they can have great, healthy brain development throughout childhood. And last is the butterfly, using all of these habits of resilience to manage the changes and challenges of family life. And Safe, Secure, and Loved has been utilized in California and is expanding across the United States, and has a lot of warm welcome for the people who participate. And they report having, much better relationships and feeling like they can manage a lot of the daily stressors of life a lot better. Fortunately, all of this has been adapted to learn and be able to conduct these workshops virtually now, because we're in a pandemic. We're not all sitting in a room somewhere in the state right now. That there are ways to do this and continue to build family resilience despite all of us being in a pandemic. So that's like a very broad overview of what parents experience when they participate in Safe, Secure, and Loved. But to dive a little bit deeper, I wanted to give you some of the highlights of what would happen in just a 50-minute workshop session. And there's a lot of kind of pausing and reflecting, but I'm going to go through some of the agenda items, and you may think that's a whole lot, but it's also a lot of reinforcing of practicing all of the things that we're teaching. Do you have a question, Amy?
I was just going to say, before you get into, the little more intricacies of the program, just to frame up again for the Ready Starts, that the ask here is to not only tell you about the program, but have you thinking about who in your community could maybe be a good fit to help facilitate that. So I was just wanting to reflect on that frame as you're going through this for them, Laura, that, to start thinking in that way as you're looking at these elements.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amy. I think often when I first learned about Safe, Secure, and Loved, and when I think of or learn of like a new program, I know my brain immediately goes to, ooh, who do I know that would be great for this? And it's a good thing for me not to assume that everyone else's brain does that, but I'm hoping your brains might be doing that. And I appreciate, Amy, you bringing that up just to key that in, because you all are so embedded within your community. And that's one of the reasons why we're talking with you all, is that you all know the people in your community who's going to be the right folks to potentially lead this work, who are already invested in knowing about the brain science of child development, who care about making connections with parents and making sure that they can get all of the resources that they need. So thank you so much, Amy. Any kind of initial questions so far? I'll just build in a little question break. If not, I'll dive into what the Anchor workshop is. So that first workshop, in this, we help parents identify their parenting strengths, and they receive a teething toy for the little one that is in the shape of an anchor. And as we'll get into a little bit later, there are a lot of things that people receive, and we provide all of these things. So we can get to that in a little bit more, but it really kind of identifying what are the strengths of parents and what is unique to you as a parent, and helping them draw or write out their anchor of resilience. So what are the things that help them be resilient, whether it's a relationship with a person or a community in terms of culture or religion? What are the things that kind of build them up to help make them feel more resilient? Identifying ways that we go about life in a way that is either mindful or not mindful. So how are we dropping off the little one when they go to pre-K? Or how are we making dinner? How are we going about all of these different daily activities, and how to build in mindfulness? And then one of the books that they are provided is the Safe, Secure, and Loved book that is by Dr. Burns, and we do a group reading of that. We also do a mindful eating activity, so really being present, whether it's a raisin. I would prefer a strawberry versus a raisin, but thinking about the act of eating and actually doing the act of eating a particular strawberry and all of the things that can go into this is it sounds like a kind of cheesy thing, but it really makes you slow down and process what it tastes like, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're smelling, all of those things. And helping in a small group setting to brainstorm mindfulness anchor habit ideas. So what are things that parents can practice throughout the week and do these things to have them become actual habits of resilience together? And receiving the Resilient Reminder Anchor Necklace. So we know that often if you are trying to change habits, you may need some kind of reminder. And so a lot of our reminders or things that are given throughout the workshop series helped prompt that. So often we talk about maybe doing deep breathing or singing kind of an affirmation or doing an affirmation to yourself while changing baby's diaper. If you hang the anchor necklace over the changing table, it's a little bit easier to remind yourself with that visual cue. There are those of us that have Post-it notes everywhere around our offices. You get that having a reminder is useful then. So making sure that we're building people up for success and planning out and writing out how people will practice the anchor habit of mindfulness. So all of that happens in 50 minutes, and it can be done virtually, it can be done in person, and we can talk more about that. But this is kind of a taste of what a parent experiences when going through a Safe, Secure, and Loved workshop. And then there are only 6 of them. So it's not like a 3-month-long process. It's 6. You can do it in weeks. You can do it a little bit differently. We typically recommend it once a week. And then they feel a little bit more resilient and able to cope with what is happening in the world. So families receive a variety of things, and this is a whole lot of stuff, and I'm going to list a bunch of stuff, and I've got the full list somewhere else, but this is to give you a taste for that everything that we give is developmentally appropriate. It is a manualized, I keep wanting to say treatment because I'm a developmental psychologist, so I was trained in treatment, but it's a manualized intervention. So people receive a parent workbook, a parent journal, where they can continue to document what habits they're doing, 3 different children's books that we use and recommend people continuing to read to their children, a stress brain ball, a self-compassion bracelet, whiteboard with dry erase marker and magnets that is a part of the school bus workshop, and they also receive a certificate when they end. And so there's a lot of different things that are going on there. We've got the baby yoga mat because we teach people how to do baby massage, all different kinds of things that help people feel really engaged and that there's tangible goods in addition to all of the feeling good that comes along with each workshop. They also make things during the workshop. It may sound a little cheesy, but when was the last time you had to do a craft? There's simple joy in making something, and we help people make a butterfly puzzle or a heart pillow, and people really enjoy it because it's a small thing to do, and that when you're doing it, it gives people an opportunity to reflect and discuss all of the topics as well. So you may think like, am I just going to sit here and watch PowerPoints for 15 minutes and this woman's going to talk at me? No, it's much more of a conversation. It's talking and reflecting together about different topics, and having something to do during that time, like a craft, helps a whole lot. Initial questions so far? All right, so you may be wondering how this sounds like a neat opportunity, whatnot, but like, we're not going to invest our time and energy doing something if you can't like make this last long term. Nobody wants to just do stuff to do it for a short period of time. The beauty of Safe, Secure, and Loved is that it is really sustainable within a community, because often people join a Safe, Secure, and Loved group and they participate in the 6 workshops. They meet other community members, particularly if it's in person, but even in small groups like this, there's a way to connect and meet your neighbors and form connections. And people learn and practice those habits of resilience, becoming more mindful, more engaged parents, and really focusing on strengthening that inner wisdom and calm in family life. And a lot of people enjoy it enough that they want to become a community leader. So if you are finding that this has really helped me and my family, that it is something that I want to continue working on, a lot of people then go on to complete the community leader training themselves. So there is a nice little cycle there for us. So as Amy was mentioning, we have the opportunity to have kind of a pilot of Safe, Secure, and Loved, and Learn the Signs Act Early. And what our broad goal is that we received some funding from the CDC and for the Learn the Signs Act Early grant, and it is specifically because of COVID. It's part of the CARES money. We're all trying to make sure that resources go to communities and families. To have us, the Learn the Signs Act Early team, recruit and train 25 individuals, hopefully through our Ready Start networks in those parishes, to become the Safe, Secure, and Loved community leaders throughout the state. And from there, we want to provide additional Learn the Signs Act Early and pandemic safety resources to these community leaders to distribute not only to participants, participating families of Safe, Secure, and Loved, but to the broader community. So there's a specific set of resources that would go to the community leaders that's just for Safe, Secure, and Loved, but then we're going to add even more stuff on top of it, of the Learn the Signs Act Early materials and pandemic safety materials that can be shared with everyone. So it doesn't just have to go to those Safe, Secure, and Loved folks. So really trying to disperse and invest in people who are already the connectors of the community, the folks who are doing a lot of that communicating and talking about early child care and education, and who care about making sure that we're getting all of the families into high quality education and care that we can. And we want to support the community leaders through that first set of Safe, Secure, and Loved workshops. So I can dive into this a little bit more in a minute, but helping you get through all of the training, we'll have facilitated training time available, but because it's possible to be done all online now, if you're a go-getter and want to do stuff by yourself or with your buddy, you don't have to come to the facilitated training sessions either. So there's a lot of flexibility in making all of this happen, but we would love for folks to kind of set their sights on having a first round of participants. They do not have to start by July 2021. We just want to make sure that people are at least trained by then. So we can get into that a little bit more. So what we as a pilot provide to the individuals, there's no cost in the training to become a safe, secure, and loved community leader. Typically, there is a cost associated. We are able to have that waived currently for everyone who wants to be involved. And this not only improves community resilience through that safe, secure, and loved in pandemic safety materials that I'll get into a little bit more, but also to help be leaders in parent engaged developmental monitoring. And this phrase is very, very common if you have been looking at the Learn the Signs Act early materials or website. And this is really about making sure that parents know that there are ways for them to monitor and check in and talk with their physician and their teachers about how their child is developing. So it's not just that a teacher is saying your kiddo can do this, 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 and this. They're not quite there on X, Y, or Z yet. So that's not parent engaged developmental monitoring. Parent engaged developmental monitoring is, so we noticed that your little one can do X, Y, and Z, but we noticed that they recently started pulling up. Have you seen that at home yet? Yeah, actually, they're pulling up a whole lot at home. They're scooting around on all the couches and whatnot. Excellent. That's great. However, we're still working on X, Y, or Z things. That conversation between parent and teacher, or physician and parent, or parents and caregivers, whomever, is that parent engaged developmental monitoring, comparing and looking at milestones, whether it's from an app or a checklist, and seeing whether their child is meeting milestones or whether there are concerns that are showing up, and making sure that they're connecting to the right thing. So we also provide the community leaders a lot of support from the team. We're going to give you all of the materials. You don't have to subcontract anything out. We ship things to you. We will make sure that you get all of those things. It might be in a van, me and potentially Britt Braun driving around the state handing things off to folks, but more likely it's us mailing you things, but we make sure that you guys get everything. We will also provide facilitated training sessions. I just went through this whole experience of becoming a safe, secure, and loved community leader. And so having done all of the facilitated sessions myself with a small team, we're able to provide that to other folks as well. So there will be times when you can come and do the facilitated sessions, or if you want to go it alone or do it in small groups within your network, that's perfectly okay too. There's a lot of flexibility there. We're also going to give you support on how to recruit caregivers to participate. We know that you all are engaged with families, but we also know that this is something maybe a little bit new and different, and so we are here to help provide some support on that front, and have a small social media kit to assist with all of the promotion of finding those families and getting those families to continue to come and stay with the program, and supporting for any pre or post evaluation components. And those are typically quick surveys. Will help you deal with all of that data. You guys won't have to analyze anything. We try and make it as easy as possible for you all. So I know I've been talking at you all a whole lot, but I'm going to keep talking at y'all a little bit more, unless you've got a question so far. Because going to dive in a little bit more into Learn the Signs Act early stuff. So any initial questions so far? All right, I don't have anything beeping at me, so I'm going to keep on talking. Learn the Signs Act early, as many of you may be aware, is a collaboration between the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP. And they got together and were like, we need more parent engaged developmental monitoring. Parents need to be able to have somewhere reputable to go to find developmental milestones. And thus, Learn the Signs Act early was born. And it consists of a wide variety of materials Probably what you're most familiar with are the checklists that can be customizable with your lead agency and the contact information for all of the different things. And Britt has made an amazing map where you can go and download all the specific things for your region, and it's really pretty amazing to have all of that contact information and have it be specified. So these checklists have all of the different domains. They also have kind of red flags or warning things to, hey, if kiddo is not meeting X, Y, or Z milestones, probably a good time to talk with a doctor or early intervention. They also have books. They have 1, 2, and 3-year-old books that not only have a story for the little ones, but throughout the books have developmental milestones that are appropriate for parents. And having read this to 2-year-olds, you, as soon as you say like the milestone, like, oh, around 2 years old, they're going to start pointing. Kiddos will come up and start pointing at the different things as you're reading the book. So it's useful all around and an easy one for families to continue to come back to. And last, but certainly not least, and is about to get a facelift, is the mobile app. It is in the Google Play and Apple stores, and you can fill out things on several different kids, and you can show it to a physician when you go in. You can show it to a teacher, same kind of thing. So it's a wide variety of different things, but perhaps what you all are most familiar with are the checklists. So all of these materials will be coming to you or to the community leaders directly. All of the safe, secure, and loved materials, all of the things that you need for training to become a community leader, all of the materials that you need for families. As of right now, we have enough funding to provide enough for 10 families per community leader. So if you've got 2 community leaders in your family, you all would receive enough materials for 20 families. So it kind of goes along that line. All of the things for Learn the Signs Act Early, the 1, 2, and 3-year-old books. We're also going to make some laminated versions of the checklists for the leaders so that you all can have a really nice version that you carry around and show people when you're having meetings, or you can keep for yourself. And then additional checklists and other items. And this is the kind of beyond what we would give just for those, say, 10 or 20 families per community leader. We're going to be investing a lot more. It'll depend on the size of the parish and kind of what the population is in each area, but it'll certainly be more than 20, promise you that. And then last but not least, because we're working in partnership with the Louisiana chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, they are working on getting us pediatric-sized face masks that are reusable. I just didn't have a cute picture of a reusable one just yet. And they have a tri-fold brochure that is Mardi Gras themed, because masking helps us be able to mask in the future for Mardi Gras, and making sure that we can have that in the future. And so making sure that you have a whole lot of these extra resources. So you may not have, you only have 20 families that are participating, say, in Safe, Secure, and Loved, but you have a lot of resources to provide to your entire community or to the relevant folks in your community. And it's a great way to start those conversations for future Safe, Secure, and Loved participants. Initial questions here. All right. So what is involved in becoming that community leader for Safe, Secure, and Loved? All of these trainings are done online, and then there are facilitated conversations that happen after. They kind of have it in 5 stages, where you go through the background, the nuts and bolts of Safe, Secure, and Loved. So this includes all of the materials you need for workshops, how to do evaluation of it, leadership skills in Safe, Secure, and Loved, and forming your own habits of leadership. So making sure that the community leaders have all of the things that they need in their bucket, in their cup, to make sure that they're great community leaders as well. And learning how to do the actual workshops themselves, watching the demonstrations. Dr. Burns has done all of them online, and she reads in this wonderfully calming voice. And it's very relaxing to watch while you're learning. And then kind of reaching that conclusion, making sure that the community is on that healing journey and your own hero's journey of becoming a community leader as well. So typically Safe, Secure, and Love can recommend doing this in like a 13-week span. We're not going to do that. That is not what I did when I became one. We will meet for 5 different weeks, so 5 sessions of 2 hours of discussion each time. There will be mini breaks in between there though. So it's not just talking together about feelings for 2 hours, because I know for some people that sounds like a nightmare. It is not a nightmare, I promise. It's a lot of talking and reflecting about the content and how to present this in your community. What are the examples you're going to use? How are you thinking or talking about this? So that's kind of what is involved there. Again, we will have facilitated sessions that you can attend, or you can do it on your own. So what are the responsibilities of a potential Safe, Secure, and Loved and Learn the Signs Act Early community leader? You would complete the community leader training for Safe, Secure, and Loved. Again, those facilitated training sessions will be available, or it can be done independently in small groups. You would receive a bunch of stuff from the team, and we will co-develop a plan with you and help you implement, providing one course or those one set of 6 workshops to Safe, Secure, and Loved within your community. We have supplies for up to 10 families per community leader. If you get 10, great. If it's less than 10, also great. We're here to help people have this be as successful as possible in the community, and co-develop with you and implement distributing those additional Learn the Signs Act Early and pandemic safety materials to the broader community. So this is really about partnership, working with you. You will see a lot more of my face if you join, and talking through how to make this work best in your community. So hopefully, because Amy did a wonderful job of maybe priming you up, can you maybe think of some potential community leaders within your network? It doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be other network members, but within your communities, are there folks that pop to your mind that are like, ooh, they'd be really good at this, or, you know, who would be really great at this, so-and-so? Is there, can you let me know in the chat, maybe yay or nay, or I have no idea, as to whether you can think of some folks who might be great at this.
Or I'm wondering too, as they're thinking, if it would help, I know it may help me a little bit, and we've had conversations before about kind of framing up again, you know, what you've done throughout this presentation is, you know, who that would be. So it's around, you're looking for around 25 participants. It's an optional pilot program, but we're looking towards, or you're looking towards RSNs who are looking at really increasing engagement with families and offerings to families, you know, within social emotional learning, as well as, you know, understanding child development, really supporting that at home. It doesn't have to be specifically an a Ready Start network leader, but could be somebody within their community or coalition, or even maybe a stellar provider that could offer this to people, or teacher.
Absolutely. It's the whomever you know in the community that cares about this stuff, who enjoys talking with other people and teaching and is engaging, that those are the right people that we are looking for, of the ones who care about social emotional development, who are wanting to make sure that families have all of the resources that they need and are really a connector. And based on our understanding of the Ready Start networks and how things have been working, that this might be, that you all are a part of these broader communities. So, you know, it can be somebody's mama. It doesn't have to be a teacher or someone very specific. It can be all of the people that
I'm thinking in my mind about, you guys have these coalitions that you've begun to start reaching out to, and people who are invested in early childhood. And so you may have someone on your coalition who would be possibly interested in doing something like this and hosting and being a facilitator. So I think that this could be something that they might be interested in. You might put this kind of question to a couple of different people before, finally settling on one particular person. But these parent workshops are just a wonderful way to start reaching out kind of organically within your network in your area, so that families start to see their value, and being able to stay connected to the early childhood network and learning more about their child and how they can impact their child in regards to school. So this is a really great opportunity, and I really do hope some of you guys take advantage of this.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Indeed, I'm happy to answer questions, and it sounds like some people maybe have some thoughts percolating. And again, that's why I bring it up now, is I know my brain goes to who would be great for that now, but hopefully you all can kind of contemplate that as you all come together over the next couple of weeks. Here's an example of flyer of things that are happening. This is not Morehouse Parish Kids First flyer. I just used Morehouse Parish as an example because they are also doing this. So there are additional supports out there that we are going to be able to provide in terms of if Facebook is the way that you recruit, or Twitter is the way that you recruit, or Instagram, we can help make those graphics. We can do the email blurbs, things like that. We are there to help on that front. Some other important things to know is that we ship everything directly to the community leaders. You all do not have to buy materials and things like that. I know that in the current state of the world that's like an extra hassle right now. So we got that. You guys don't have to worry about it. And we recommend a buddy system. So we recommend at least 2 community leaders in a given parish. So we don't want just like one person trying to take up the charge of Safe, Secure, and Loved and Learn the Signs Act Early alone. So at least 2 if you're into it. That way you all have a support system, and there's a good way to have some balance as well. And one way to think about it is if you've got 2 and say you have your first group of 10 people, and your 2 Safe, Secure, and Loved community leaders are leading that together, you've got supplies for another 10 families for the next time around. So there are good ways to frame it to make sure that everyone is being supported, and that anyone can be a community leader. It's not just Ready Start Network members or educators. So if you are interested in learning more, or like, oh, I don't know what the heck Dr. Thornton was talking about, let me read a little bit more into this. We have a 15-minute video that is an overview of Safe, Secure, and Loved here. I see a question of how long are the sessions. The workshops are 50 minutes for participating families. And then training, the facilitated training sessions that I'll be providing are going to be 5 2-hour-long sessions, but that is so that you don't have to do like 12 weeks of 1-hour sessions, because that's not fun. So you can watch an overview here. Again, we'll be sending out these slides, so you will have those links. And thank you so much, Lizzie, for including the link in the chat as well. We have a Google form that you can complete. We would love it if you could complete by noon on Friday, March 5th. If we have more intense winter weather that comes about, or things that disrupt all of the things that are happening right now, we'll probably change that. But fingers crossed for no more crazy weather anytime soon. And then we will have a kickoff Zoom with interested sites to really help you all dig into the planning of how to make this pilot go smoothly in your community. We're invested in making sure that this goes well and having it be successful for you all, if you all are interested. So again, it's a free opportunity. We're providing a lot of things to help increase that family resilience. We do know that it is asking a potential thing, but we hope that this is a really natural way to establish family engagement channels to strengthen all of the communities together. And if you have other questions about it, you can always email me at laura.thornton@la.gov. I'll throw my email in the chat as well, and happy to answer all of those things. I can also give you a quick look at what the Google form will ask you. It's just some basics. What we're going to ask is, which Ready Start network or plural do you represent? Because I know maybe some members are a part of multiple. Are you all interested? Yes, no, maybe so. Do you have 2 potential people in mind? How many leaders would you all like to host? If you're like, I want 10 community leaders, I'm gonna go, oh my goodness, okay. And that's great, but let us know. And then whether you all are thinking about more having it virtually or having things in person or doing a hybrid, because as you all know, everything is hybrid these days. So trying to meet people where they're at, who's the best contact for you all, and what questions do you all have for us? So that is my overview, and I will answer questions now, and I completely lost track of my time, so I hope I didn't run over too much, but I am happy to stick around for a little while, and I am always available by email.
Thanks so much, Laura. I'm going to hop in real quick about that Google form. I'm curious, let's say a network is interested in being involved. This sounds like something that they want to do, but maybe by March 5th of next week, they're not entirely sure who that community leader might be. Would you encourage them to still fill out the form? And is there a way to indicate, you know, we're not quite certain exactly what this looks like yet?
Yes. So I believe I have it in there. Are you interested in hosting at least 2 leaders and conducting the pilot? Yes, no, maybe. And I will make sure that I have all of the other options available so that you all can fill in some more information as to, like, we're not quite sure yet what this is going to look like, but we are interested.
Right.
And
I just wanted to make sure that, you know, by next Friday, they don't have to have like every single set plan in place by any means. But if this is something your community is interested in, you'd like to engage parents in this great opportunity, then I would encourage you to still sign up, even if you don't have all of the details nailed down. Okay.
Absolutely. And if you all receive feedback, or let us know in the chat if you're like, March 5th is no way possible, we can figure that out by then, we can move that to later in this month. So we are flexible is the moral of the story.
Great. Thanks, Laura.
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. I haven't seen any questions come up in the chat quite yet, Laura. I do want to reemphasize, as Laura said, that we'll be not only sharing the slides, but her contact information that she also shared in the chat box, and are also happy to facilitate a connection between any of you who are interested in, you know, this optional pilot opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity to receive training, to implement a program within your community. I know we had a few people in the chat already show some interest, so we'll make sure we connect you with Laura, as well as sending all this information out in a follow-up email, if not this afternoon, tomorrow, to you. Right? All right, so thanks again, Laura, for coming on and sharing the opportunity. Happy to have you.
Absolutely, and I will let you all get to the rest of your meeting and hop off.
Right.
And thank you all so much. Take care.
Great, take care, thank you. So before we close out today, we'll go ahead and, if there's no questions, I'm looking at the chat one more time, go through our reminders. We do have a couple of workshops coming up on March 3rd. There's going to be a grant writing workshop hosted by Hamilton Simons Jones that'll be held from 3 to 4:30. I know earlier this year we asked if you would be interested in this opportunity come the spring, and spring is here more or less, so that will be available on March 3rd. And then on March 23rd, Kate Irby will be joining us again, and she'll be sharing some of the best practices for conducting governance meetings, and that will be from 2 to 3 on that date. Kate has asked, and I know I've reached out and heard from some of you, to share if you have any virtual governance meetings coming up in the next few weeks that you wouldn't mind her coming and attending as a passive participant. She would just like to sit in on these meetings, make notes of best practices, possibly make some suggestions for best practices, and part of her support to our governance structures that are already in place. So if you have dates already that you know, if you can type those in the chat box, and also if you have all the logistics like the Zoom links and everything, additionally send those to me at amy.poirier@la.gov if you're interested in having Kay come on, and I'll share that with her as well.
And again, I think that to emphasize, Kay's visit to your governance meeting is to just be a silent observer, and she just wants to see how folks are setting up their meetings and how that can better inform her presentation on March 23rd. So hopefully a few more folks will let us know if they have any meetings coming up.
Right. Yes, Emmy, we'll try to get that to you, an updated schedule of the community of practice times with calendar invites. I know we've talked a little bit too about kind of shifting what this is going to look like in the new year and what works best with you. So we'll continue to do that and get that to you. Great. And I know we have a few minutes left. I want to do just another quick reminder, and then we can probably go ahead and close out for today. But if you can, just a reminder to get us the network convening information, just so we can better understand your committees and structures within there, and send that to me as well. I'll put this information again in the email that comes out after this webinar, either this evening or tomorrow. But if you can get that to us as soon as possible, that would be great. And I'll open it up for any last minute questions, either about this information, upcoming meetings for potential K visits, or having any more questions about Safe, Secured, and Loved, or about the next minute. And then I think, unless you have anything else, Lizzie, we can probably close out.
I'm good, thank you, Amy.
All right, I'm not seeing anything in the chat box. So thanks for joining us for almost an hour today. We appreciate it. We look forward to connecting with you about Safe, Secured, and Loved, as well as getting your network information and your meeting information. Take care.